We have breaking news in the NHL tonight. Capitals forward Tom Wilson has been suspended for 6 games. We'll discuss the details and what led to this coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant news in the NHL tonight. Capitals forward Tom Wilson's suspension hearing has been completed and player safety has come down with their ruling. Of course, Tom Wilson, we know, has significant history here of suspensions and fines during his fairly long now NHL career. The play in question came a couple nights ago when the Washington Capitals were doing battle with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Tom Wilson has been suspended for 6 games. We knew it could be 6 or more based on the fact that he was offered an in-person hearing from the Department of Player Safety. They do that because that's what they're required to do when they want to consider a suspension of more than 5 games. If it's just a phone hearing, then it's 5 or less. So we knew this could be significant, and with his significant history, which I wasn't sure of, because based on the CBA, I thought it was under my interpretation here that he wouldn't be considered a repeat offender, but they did not use those words in the ruling here. George Parros, the head of player safety, in the video that he put out announcing this a short time ago, which I will link in the top comment here. So in the pinned comment of the video, you can get the link to the video from player safety and the comments from George Parros himself. But essentially, he was penalized for 4 minutes on a play. Parros says that Wilson finished his check on Noah Gregor of the Toronto Maple Leafs, which was a legal check. As they separate, he draws his stick back and he recklessly comes up and strikes Gregor right in the face. It was a really weird play. I seen it happen live in the game at the time it happened, and it was weird because you could see Wilson bring his arm back and swing the stick. So that he's under control of it. There's nothing that's causing him to lose his balance, and Parros references this. He says there's not a case here where the players are engaged and get tangled up and cause each other to impact each other's actions, or where a player is off balance and is trying to get their footing back. Tom Wilson lays a legal body check. He's not off balance, just draws the stick back and comes right up in front of him and whacks him right in the face. But he immediately showed remorse, and it was like he snapped and then came to and was like, oh my God, what did I do? Or something. It's bizarre. Really bizarre reaction, because normally you don't see that, because it looked 100% intentional, but then the reaction to the remorsefulness, it was I don't know. I mean, in some ways it's nice to see that he showed remorse, but in other ways it's just weird. It's like how your brain just flipped the switch so quickly. So at the end of the day, Parros says that he's fully accountable for this stick, and then he did reference the fact that Wilson has significant history, and that was factored in here. Wilson has been suspended 5 times. He's been fined on 3 other occasions. So that's 8 times during his career of 750 games where he's been in hot water with NHL player safety on one level or another. We've seen him get some pretty lengthy ones, even worse than this. If I can't remember exactly how long the big one was for all the hits to the head that he delivered over the years, but I think at one point he was given 20, then it got lowered to 14 or 15. I'd have to look back on that one, but I know that was a couple of years ago now. And I wondered, based on the history, if they could really use that repeat offender against him here, because it's been a while since he's been in hot water. And I think based on the CBA, it does determined by how close together all these incidents are. But like I said, he didn't use the words repeat offender. He just said he's a player with significant history. So with the Washington Capitals and right in the hunt here in the thick of things for a playoff berth, this is going to be a big blow. He plays a big role for the Capitals, a very important player. So obviously he's going to be missing tonight's game, which is why they had to get the ruling out before the game started tonight. And then he'll have to miss 5 additional games. So clearly Tom Wilson in the wrong here for sure. And based on the fact that it was in person, I didn't think it would be more than 6. So for once, I actually guessed correctly. They are difficult to kind of pinpoint, and they've been, in my opinion, they do relatively good job, but they're inconsistent. Like when you look at the Jacob Trouba incident where he comes up with his stick, bam, gets a guy right in the face. That was just a fine. They called that more of a follow through, and it looked to me to be sort of this different angle, but basically the same sort of thing. And yet Wilson gets 6 games. It's kind of bizarre when you look at him and you try to shake your head and make heads or tails of why this situation is this outcome and why that situation is this outcome, which is what they were talking about at the most recent GM meetings that just concluded a couple of days ago. A lot of managers were kind of grilling Peros on, how to learn and understand their decisions and addressing the fact that a lot of people feel that their decisions are inconsistent. So there's times when you look at a ruling and you're like, okay, that makes sense. I get that. I agree with it. And other times you're like, whoa, like that's not as much as it should be, or it's too much, or what. Like it's bizarre. Like we can never have situations where you're going to do like in our comment section on a video, like I guarantee you there's going to be a wide range of opinions, which is fine. It's good for, talking about the situation, but it's hard to understand in the eyes of player safety how they make their decisions. They do explain things, but not detailed enough, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts on the Wilson 6-game suspension, how this is going to impact the Capitals' playoff push, and we'll discuss further down here in the comments. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.